This is Colin from Debrew, and we're going to have a look on how to find and identify big potential Facebook campaigns. Because launching is one thing and scaling is a whole other thing. And if you don't have scalability, then you might run into issues. So we're going to start a campaign from scratch, where in the building process on the ad set level, we identify the scalability. Colin, UK, or let's go with Italy. Facebook, Nike. Let's see. All right. So my standard settings are the campaign loads in the Netherlands, but we're going to change that. So I'm going to run in Italy. The one crucial factor we're looking for when it comes to scalability is potential reach. So the potential reach on Facebook, so we're only going to run feed on mobile. We're going to deselect all of this. And then we're only going to run newsfeed, placement, deselect everything. The total reach comes down to 28 million people. That's very scalable. We're going to optimize for landing page views, still 28 million. All right, so now we have male and female. We're going to cut those up because 28 million would be a great ad set for scalability. You can run anywhere up from 1 to 5,000 a day in ad spend towards such an insane audience. You can see the reach is between 5.2 and 15,000. If I put a budget of 1,000 euros a day, it goes up. Doesn't even fill the whole reach per day. If I do 5,000 a day, 1.1 to 3.3 million, the reach. If I do 10,000 per day, this 100,000, 10,000, you can see we reach a big portion of the audience. What will happen is your frequency will also go up. So we're not going crazy. If you do 20, what you have to consider, because this video is about identifying big potential campaigns. This is a big potential campaign. I mean, Nike is a brand that appeals to everybody basically because they're shoes, right? So let's say over 85% of the total audience wouldn't mind to have a free pair of Nike shoes. 28 million people. However, to test, this is not a good audience to test because it's way too big. If we would want to test, then to get relevant and significant data, we would have to spend at least probably 200 a day to get at least maybe 5% of the total audience. So what are we going to do? Are we going to spend more to test? Probably not. We're going to reduce the audience size. However, we already have identified that if we would run Nike in Italy, broad, it would result in 28 million. If we would run Nike as a interest, this one, Nike Inc., it would result in 3 million, which is still a good reach to scale your campaign, right? But this is male and female. So we are running Nike brand, so not broad, we run brand, interest, but still too big to test, 3 million. So we are going to go either male or female. The audience in Italy has to be 25, which brings down to 1.8 million. All right, but I want to go under a million. So what we're going to do, male or female to reduce it? Male 970, female 880. Good, but still quite big. If you see, if we spend 20 a day, which is already far more than a 3-day rule, we go to maybe 10% of the total audience. If we spend the 3-day rule, we would only have nothing, basically 1/30th, 1/40th of the total audience. So we have to start a little bit higher. This is what you get with big potential campaigns: higher spend, but also obviously higher potential. Then what you do is you might be able to cut up the age ranges a little bit. So you might take two jumps from 25 to 40 which results in 640K, and then from 40 to 65 plus, which cuts up the audience by 2/3 and 1/3, 270,000. This would be adequate to test. So then you would end up with 4 ad sets with the brand interest, and you wouldn't run it broad yet. You just validate these core ad sets first before moving to the broad potential. So as soon as the cut up 4 ad sets are making positive ROI, you can either scale them by increasing the budget or using automated rules, or you can combine them into one big ad set to get more reach. Okay, let's just reset all this and go for another. So we're going to go for a different country this time. We are going for the UK. Let's go for UK, also a big country. So let's just reset this to the normal settings because we want to be able to identify big campaigns. So we're basically going to do the same thing. Again, we only have Facebook newsfeed selected, landing page views 20 euros a day. And we're going to go, instead of going to Italy, we're going to the United Kingdom. Obviously, these are 3 countries combined into one, and it will result in a total reach of 34 million. So now we're going to run a grocery store offer. I'm going to run Lidl, which results in a total reach of 2.7 million. Do I want to reach Lidl or do I want to run Aldi? 5.7 million. We're going to run Aldi. So for the UK, it is 25 years plus. So we're going to change that first, which is a requirement. Still, you can see, I know everybody needs groceries, so we can run this broad, which brings the potential reach to 29 million. Insane scalability. And even under brand interest, it already has really good scalability, 5 million. So again, too big to run. However, we have identified this is a big potential Facebook campaign. Big potential meaning the general broad reach is over usually 20 million. That makes it that you can reach tens of thousands in revenue per day if needed. Usually we would drag that out to a weekly basis, so 10,000 per week on one campaign. That would be a very broad, scalable campaign. To get there, you have to identify them first. A campaign that runs on a gender split with the required age and the brand interest more than 1 million is a big potential Facebook campaign. Right now, we have identified that the United Kingdom Aldi women with the required age on the Facebook newsfeed results in 3.6 million, which means it passes the test. Which means, again, we're going to cut up the age ranges and we're going to test. As soon as it passes the 3-day rule, which in this sense, with 20 a day, it must make more than 20 per day in revenue. Doesn't matter. So for the UK, it would be around 19 conversions per day, as the payout is 1.1 or 1.2 euros. It will pass, right? So to be able to identify these campaigns, you only have to play around on ad set level. What I recommend you to do is open the offer list and plug these brands in here, not necessarily to run them immediately, but write them down. Identify the big potential campaigns and where the opportunities are. Realize, however, that running big potential campaigns require big cash flow. As you can see, we're not testing with the 3-day rule, we're testing with bigger budgets. Apart from bigger budgets, also when you scale, you need more cash to be able to fund the running process until you get paid by your partner network or advertiser. In this sense, we basically want you to be able to run these campaigns now or in the future, but at least you should know how to identify these campaigns. Because these campaigns with basically almost unlimited scalability between quotes, because obviously it is still limited, but they will allow you to rake in much bigger amounts of revenue, not necessarily profit, not percentages, so not necessarily ROI, but total profit. It will give you more profit over a longer period because there's more audience. Countries that are eligible for that is obviously the US, Australia, the Asia Pacific regions like Philippines, Indonesia, France, Germany, Italy, Spain, UK. The smaller geos, not so much. The Nordics, also not that much, because there's not that many people. If we would run broad, for instance, in Sweden, it's already 3 million, the reach, broad, not even with the brand interest. In the UK, with the brand interest, it's 3.6 million. So the bigger countries obviously give you more reach, in ability to identify big potential campaigns. That's what you need to look for. Good luck.